And that breaking news in Karmelo Anthony's appeal hearing, a judge granted his lawyer's request to replace his trial judge. Now, a new judge will proceed over Anthony's appeals. Thank you for being with us this midday. I'm Kara Sewell. WFAA has followed this case since the very beginning. And our Jobin Pennicker was inside the Collin County Courthouse when a judge granted that recusal. So, Jobin, what does today's decision mean for a new trial?
Well, it means Judge Roach will not be sitting on the bench when we have tomorrow's hearing. Now, after that news was mentioned, there were people clapping, there were people cheering outside of the courthouse, outside of the courtroom as well. Today's hearing lasted only about an hour and 20 minutes. We did not expect it to take the full day. Judge Sid Harrell ruled to recuse Judge Roach, not based on any judicial canons or violations of conduct or misconduct, but rather whether an outside person could think the judge could be fair and impartial. And just to understand what all that means, I've got Todd Shapiro here, longtime defense attorney. Can you tell us what the distinction is?
Sure. So the judge granted the motion to recuse, but he narrowly tailored his decision, for the record, saying exactly what you just said. It wasn't because of anything necessarily that Judge Roach did that was impermissible in the trial. It was more an idea that giving the interview after the fact made an outsider or a reasonable third party look at the process and think it could have been not as fair and impartial as the law requires. So I would say, out of abundance of caution, the judge did recuse Judge Roach, which is a victory for the Karmelo supporters. There's no doubt that they're happy, because technically that's probably the first victory they've had in this case since it started. But it doesn't really change the landscape of what's next, because what's next is whoever gets appointed to now step into the shoes of Judge Roach will have to listen to evidence and testimony in the next couple days in the motion for new trial to be able to determine whether or not they've met the standard of proving that they, in fact, did not get a fair trial the first time around and it should be entitled to a new trial.
Karmelo Anthony was in court today. He was in a green jumpsuit.
Which is not unusual. That's when anytime anybody's in custody, that's what they wear unless they're in front of a jury.
And he was handcuffed?
He was.
And
that's normal.
The defense attorney raised something.
Asked for him to be unshackled for the hearing, and the judge allowed it.
What's next? Administrative judge gets to appoint the next judge?
From what I've been told, yes. The hearing's set for tomorrow morning, the motion for new trial. I would believe that the new judge that's going to get appointed probably already knew that was a possibility to be ready. And so I would assume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when the hearing starts, it'll be whoever that judge may be, and the hearing and the motion for new trial will proceed from there.
Todd, thank you so much.
You got it.
You'll join us later for our streaming show,
sure.
30-minute streaming show after that. So again, we're going to have our hearing, another hearing. This is the motion for a new trial that starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Back to you.
Okay, we appreciate the insight and the update. Thank you, Jobin. So stay tuned to WFAA all week as our coverage from the courthouse does continue. We'll be streaming our After the Hearing special immediately after the 10 o'clock news. And you can scan the QR code you see right there on your screen so you can get up to date on the case and watch any breaking developments as they come in. You can bet we'll have them. All right, let's talk traffic right now with our traffic anchor, Erica Lopez. You've got a couple things you're looking at.
Yeah, a couple minor things, a breakdown, a crash, and a little bit of road work. Pretty standard midday drive stuff is what we're looking at, Kara.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get you out here, starting you in Tarrant County. If you're going to be traveling on 35W South coming into the Fort Worth area, this is something that you'll want to watch out for. We've got a stalled out vehicle situation here. We've got the left lane kind of blocked. Folks are still able to get around it, but it's a little bit slow. We can see it from our Luella TxDOT camera. We're going to zoom in a moment. I just want to show you the big picture. A lot of green out here, so overall I'd say we're in pretty good shape. But if you're getting ready to travel on this stretch, again, broken down vehicle, as we can see, 35W South at Spur 280, and it actually looks like they're working to clear it, so that's good. Doesn't look like that one's going to be lingering for much longer. Taking you over to the downtown Dallas area, we've got a ramp crash here. This is 35 East southbound and I-30 on that eastbound ramp. You can see the fire crews up here. So it's not a full closure. We're still passing by on that left-hand side, but of course, something to watch out for. And then taking you over to road work that we often see during the midday commute. This is along I-30 eastbound coming into Rockwall. So if you're coming Dallas County into Rockwall County at Horizon Road, this road work has been ongoing for a while. Just a right lane closure and of course some slight delays, I would say. Minor. We saw that yellow on the map, and it does look a little congested as folks are passing by. Clear, though, for your Collin County Drive 75 in Plano. Looking great. Kara?
Thank you, Erica. So state leaders are now making a bipartisan effort to strengthen the Dallas-Fort Worth area. House representatives from Dallas, Tarrant, Denton, Collin, and Rockwall counties formed the One DFW caucus. The group promises to advocate for resources and investments in our region. It says DFW plays a key role in the Texas economy. In fact, if our region was a state, the group says it would have the 5th largest economy in the country. Now turning to election season, and we are less than 3 months away from the midterm elections. ABC's Jay O'Brien shares new primary results that are shaping November's election.
Overnight, in a race that could decide control of the Senate, Alaska primary voters advancing incumbent Republican Senator Dan Sullivan and Democratic challenger Mary Peltola to the November ballot. Sullivan rallying supporters overnight.
We are going to win for Alaska in November, and we are going to win for the great country, the United States of America that we love. Thank you again, everybody. We are on to the general election.
And Peltola, a former Democratic congresswoman, promising to be an independent voice in the Senate. But Alaska allows for 4 candidates, regardless of party, to advance to the general election ballot. And this morning, it's unclear if that will include Dan J. Sullivan, a candidate with virtually the same name as the senator. ABC News has learned the Justice Department issued a series of subpoenas to those tied to Dan J. Sullivan's campaign, probing whether he's part of a conspiracy to purposefully confuse voters, something Sullivan has strongly denied. In a plea to Republicans, President Trump posting, "Alaska, be careful. Vote for the real Dan Sullivan." Meantime, in Florida, the Democratic Party's deep divisions on full display. Self-declared Democratic Socialist and State Representative Angie Nixon beating Alexander Vindman in the primary to take on Republican Senator Ashley Moody, expected to be an uphill battle for Democrats this fall. Vindman was backed by establishment party leaders, and his campaign raised $16 million. None of it was enough to beat Nixon, who joined the DSA in the middle of her campaign.
We, the hard-working, everyday people of Florida, sent a shockwave to the Washington, D.C. establishment.
But far-left challengers coming up short elsewhere on the ballot, unable to unseat Florida Congressman Jared Moskowitz and veteran Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And in the race to replace the late South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, his sister, the current Senator Darlene Graham, and Congressman Ralph Norman squaring off in their final debate before a primary runoff next week. Graham giving a stunning answer for a sitting senator when asked about national security.
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security, but I do support the military.
Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
As we approach the midterms, we are making it easy for you to learn what you need to find on your ballot, where you live, and you can find election resources online at WFAA.com/vote, all in one spot. This midday, police are looking for a driver who hit 2 middle school students walking to school in East Dallas on Tuesday. The 6th graders are going to be okay. Neighbors say speeding along Abrams Road is a problem. One woman told us a car has crashed into her home twice in 3 years. People living there are asking for better road safety measures like crosswalks and bike lanes. Federal and state leaders are laying out a new plan to keep kids safe in the classroom. The U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI, and other agencies announced Project Safe Schools. Now, this goal is to increase transparency, accountability, and enforcement when allegations of educator misconduct come up.
The culture of silence surrounding misconduct in North Texas public schools is over.
The agencies are now asking for voluntary self-disclosure in all districts across the state. They say if a district fails to do so, they're going to face punishment.